Hello, Michael. Can you hear me? Michael? Hello, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can. Uh-oh. I got two. All right, I got it.
Oh, you're double. You're in stereo sound.
All right, I gotta get rid of
Hello, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can. I might. Let me see how I do this. How am I joined 2 times? All right, wait a second.
Is it better?
Let me see if I can come back.
There's like a reverb or some type of like
I'm gonna see if I can come back.
Is it better? There you go.
Let me see if I can come back.
There's like a reverb or some type of like
I'm gonna see if I can come back.
Is it better? There you go.
Let me see if I can come back.
There's like a reverb or some type of like
I'm gonna see if I can come back.
Better. There you go.
All right, can you hear me?
Should we restart this meeting?
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. I don't know what's going on the rest of the sound. Like, I'm not sure where it's coming from. Oh,
Can you hear me?
Maybe it was me. Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, looks like we're in
All right.
business. Okay. I don't know. It works.
Was this Is this supposed to be the group meeting where you talk about Bally, or was this?
This is a group meeting, but I think we started an hour earlier than we normally meet. So I'm not sure if everybody's able to meet us. This is not about Bally. It's about Bally, but it's not about Bally. It's about being able to
How you set it up.
Yeah, I'm talking about how setting it up, because I want to kind of go over the tools. Regardless, this is Bali, Thailand, Japan, it's going to apply to all. I'm going to use Bali as the example, but that's going to be just for the example purposes so that we can be able to understand it. So let me go ahead and get this thing started.
Oh, I gonna say you're gonna record this?
I'm going to record this.
With just us two?
It's just going to be you and me.
Okay. Well, let me check something real quick before you start. I got an email. Are you doing something tomorrow morning at 10 my time? Or I got one. I had sent you one saying I want to try to arrange our call. Like, how do I arrange, my one-on-one with you? Because you said you wanted to try to get that in. And I didn't know if that was an automatic, if you were responding to that and just made an appointment with me at 10 o'clock, or it says something about 10 o'clock tomorrow on Friday. I don't know if that's your time or my time.
That's my time right now. Okay. I'm actually is it
Friday
right now. Like, I'm ahead of you by like a few hours.
Oh, and you said it's 10 o'clock there?
Actually, it's 8 o'clock here right now. So my time zones are all kind of off right about now, but I'm just saying right now. Now, I sent out a link that actually has the booking, so you can book the time with me and then we can do one-on-one.
Okay, I'll do it because I want to make sure. Yeah, so I can pick the time, what's available.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. It'll be in the afternoon, your time. It'll be like my time, like 8 to 10, like around this time in the morning.
Well, I mean, that depends on when I pick it though, right? I mean, if I don't pick it tomorrow.
Yeah, but I'm pretty much limiting it around that time. Otherwise, we're going to be really way off on times. Your
Okay.
evening, my mornings are the best time for us to talk. Any other time is gonna be, it's gonna be like someone's gonna be sleeping.
Okay. So you say try to okay.
My calendar already gives you the blocks that I could meet with you.
Okay.
So you'll have to be in the evening if we do it now. Is
The
morning better?
evening, my time.
Evening your time, like around
Okay.
this
All
time,
right.
your evening, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's 7:09 here, Thursday evening.
Yeah, like I could do 6 o'clock your time, 7 o'clock. Like I actually would prefer 1 hour before this. If we do it an hour before this, it'd be perfect for me.
All right. Let me see if I can get my act together. I'll try to see if I can put in for that tomorrow. Or
Okay. You know,
what it would be. It'd be Saturday your time.
it's fine. It's all weird to me right now. Saturday, Sunday. I'm on.
It's Thursday. It's Thursday evening here. You said it's Friday morning where you're at. Correct. You said it's Friday morning.
I'm having
Okay.
breakfast. Did you just see somebody behind me? They just delivered some tea for me.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this started. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
cover what I'm gonna cover. You're gonna represent the whole mentorship. You're gonna ask the questions for them, okay?
That's a lot of pressure.
No pressure, no pressure,
All right.
no pressure.
Okay.
I'm trying to do something new. I'm trying to, instead of keeping this on Zoom, I'm thinking about making a private YouTube so that I can store it on YouTube as well. Like I did it with the Shane's video. I'm gonna try to do that way, and we'll see how it works out. I'm trying to shift like where I store this, so it could be for us, and then you guys can share in and join in. So I'm recording this to the cloud on Zoom here, but we're gonna get started.
Okay.
All right, welcome everyone. Today is Friday, my time. It's Thursday in your neck of the woods. It's December 23rd. Merry Christmas, everyone. We are doing a mentorship call. Today, we are going to talk about how to book and the process and the steps to booking an international flight, whether that be booking a trip to Japan, whether that means booking a trip to Singapore, whether that means booking a trip to Bali. I want to talk through the steps on what we need to do so that we can be able to have the right tools in place. That's the first thing. We want to have the right tools. What tools do we need? You can check every single airline program. That's going to waste a lot of time. I'm not saying it's going to waste a lot of time. It's accurate, but you're just at the beginning when you're doing the research stages, you're just trying to figure out how do I get an idea if there's availability? Because that's the first thing. The biggest thing that you will hear about people who talk about points and miles, this is the first thing, is that they cannot find availability. That is the first thing. When you're booking a cash ticket, if they fly 10 flights to a city, you have access to 10 flights whenever you're booking cash. When you're booking points and miles, you may have like 2 or 3 of those 10 flights. So you don't have availability of all those flights. However, the advantage of points and miles is that you're able to elevate your travel from economy now into business or potentially first class because of these great sweet spots. So we're looking kind of for the diamond in the rough, that needle in the haystack. There are tools now that we have that will help you. Historically, in the last 25 years, the only people who were able to find them were literally like aviation fanatics. Sometimes they call them AV geeks. They would like literally wake up in the morning and look for availability daily. And that's how they found it. And then they had these close circle of friends, and then they would share it with other AV fanatics. Usually it's two demographics. It's either some young 20-year-old kid, like he's a computer fanatic and geek, and I wrote script, or the other area is I'm retired and I don't have nothing else to do. I just love to travel. I'm gonna wake up in the morning. So you had literally these two extremes. And then what I'm trying to do is I say, look, there's the rest of the population, the people who have families, they're looking for 1, 2. I want to share with you, it is more difficult to find 2 seats, 3 seats, 4 seats. And the more seats you try to find, it becomes harder and harder. And what happens is brand new people, when they get in the hobby, they their family and they need to take a family of 5, and then they see somebody on Instagram or someone on social media says, wow, you could fly first class. And you're like, ooh, you may start thinking it's going to be that simple. It is not that simple. So I'm going to try to break it down for you to show you what are some of the tools you first need to get familiar with. Okay. In this session, you're not going to become an expert. What you're going to become familiar with is the tools that I'm going to share with you that will help you eliminate that time. So you don't have to wake up every morning and go, I'm going to search, I'm going to call, I'm going to search, I'm going to call. You don't have to do all that stuff. We have now programs that are able to do that. Okay, so that's what we're going to cover today. Does it make sense? Michael, does that make sense of what we're going to cover today? So I just kind of lay the groundwork.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so do we have a question, right, from what I just said? Do we have a question maybe where I should start? I have an idea, but do you have a question first? I want to make sure I cover that before we get into what I'm going to cover.
I was guessing you're going to give sites that you go to or apps that cover award flights.
So before we start looking at any awards, we want to start with which airport are we trying to get to? Which airport are we going to try to get to? That's the first thing, because that will determine what programs we search. We'll work backwards. So this is how we're going to do it. Most people are going to go, I need to know what airline flight. No, we're going to look at the destination and we're going to work backwards. This is a key. If you want to save time, we're going to work backwards. So I'm going to go and show you right now what the site that we're going to go to use. It is a new site. Most of these new sites have been created because they're trying to fix a problem. So this is what I'm going to share with you. Now, there's a free version. There's a paid version. Come talk to me if you want to take a look at the paid version, but this is what it offers you. We can put in here on flightconnections.com. Okay, we're going to put where you're coming from. Okay, but what I'm really more interested is where I'm going to. Let's say I'm looking to go to Tokyo. Okay, I'm Singapore. Let me just say Singapore. SIN. Okay. If I'm looking to go to Singapore, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to come over here to Flight Connections, and I'm going to click in where do they do non-stops? Where do they do non-stops? Because all connections are trying to get you to a place that's non-stop. We are not trying in this process. I'm not trying to connect you to 5 cities. I'm trying to get you from point A to point B as quickly as possible. Now, if it doesn't always work out point A to point B as quickly as possible, then we start looking at other cities that can connect us. Does that make sense? But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at where I'm trying to get to and how do I get there as quickly as possible. So let's look at this. If Singapore is my destination, I want to see out of Singapore, where do they go to? And that means there's also vice versa. If they go to Singapore, if Singapore goes out, that means from there, they're coming back in. Okay. So I'm going to look at the farthest distance. Ooh, look at this. They're coming over here to the US. So if I'm looking at the US, there are 4 destinations I can get to from Singapore. Actually, there's also this way as the East Coast, there's New York. But let me just look at the West Coast. If I'm looking at LAX, I'm going to click on LAX. Then I'm going to come over here. I see Singapore Airlines. Do you see that? It says Singapore Airlines. I click on the route and I see Singapore Airlines. If I see San Francisco, I see United. So Singapore and United fly out of that. So I'm thinking now Star Alliance. What's Star Alliance? Star Alliance is this. Okay, can anyone, let's see here. Star Alliance is this. Star Alliance is a network of airlines that are related to United. Okay, so I'm just taking a look here. You can see the Star Alliance. So Star Alliance here is United, Air Canada, Avianca. This is where they're all located. As you can see, they're partners with Singapore. So why do they have this alliance? Because United promises their customers that they can fly them anywhere, but they don't have to have flights everywhere. What they do is they utilize economies of scale. They reach out to other airlines in different regions and they form partnerships with them, and they're able now connect their passengers. United passengers can get to Singapore either on United or they could fly their partner, Singapore Airlines. So we have a choice. When you have United miles, you could either choose to fly United to Singapore, or you could use Singapore Air to fly to Singapore, if that makes sense. Okay. Any questions on that, Michael? No, we're clear. We're pretty clear. Okay, so you have those choices there. What other cities do we have? We have Seattle, and what comes up with Seattle? If we look at Seattle, we see another Singapore flight. Wow. Okay. And if we look at Vancouver in Canada, we also can see there's more flights, and it's also yes, so that's also Singapore. So it's pretty clear. If we want to go to Singapore, we want to fly Singapore Air. We're looking for nonstop. Now, let me just start off with this. What if you do not live at any of those 4 cities I just brought up? Okay. For example, Michael, what city are you based out
of? Yorktown, Virginia. I've always typically used, Dallas to fly places or whatever from. So yeah, I was wondering what New York City would be.
So I'm gonna look at NYC, New York City, every day, Monday through Friday, 7 days a week, New York to Singapore, they do fly that as well. Okay, so with this scenario, we know that you can get from Virginia to New York City. So let's start off with this. For all those people who are not at any of these 4 cities, you need to get to New York City. Your flight will not start then, or your award trip is not going to be your hometown to Singapore. Don't do that search. Do the search JFK to Singapore and you will find it. Then you find another flight, what we call a positioning flight, to get to New York City. Does that make sense? That's really important. So when we're doing searches, I don't want you to start going home city, home airport to your destination, which is what everyone does. I want you to go Singapore back. Where does it go to? And then from there, now that you know it's New York City, now you can go, I need to get to New York City, or I need to get to, now this is the other thing too. What if New York City has no availability? There's none for the dates that you're looking for. Either you're gonna have to move the dates, right? You're gonna have to move your dates, or you're gonna have to look for another city. So instead of wasting your time going, do they fly out of Chicago? Does Singapore fly out of Miami? Do they fly out of Dallas? Right? You're gonna waste easily 35 minutes, 45 minutes just trying to figure that out. Instead, we already did backwards, so we know I don't need to do that. Where do I need to go look at? I need to look at Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, or LA. Does that make sense? And I'm gonna look now at those 4 cities now to see if there's availability in those 4 cities, because if there are, those are all my choices, because there's no other choices other than that if I'm flying Singapore to Singapore as quickly as possible. Okay. Now that we know that, to start off, we just saved a lot of time. We just saved a lot of time, okay? Because now we're gonna go check. So are we, okay, so from here, I'm gonna go check. Now, Ben, are there other ways to get there? Yes, there are. We can go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. Today, I'm just gonna keep it straightforward because I just wanna cover some of the basic stuff. Once we could play around with variations of this later, because obviously we see other airlines, like for example, like we see Japan, right? Ben, could I do my airline to Japan to Tokyo and then go to Tokyo to Singapore? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That's another scenario. I'm not going to go off that today. Today, that's not today. Today, I'm just trying to say, how do we get from point A to point B, and what is the way that we do the research? Okay, so I just want to clarify with you. That'll be for another session. But for today, I'm just going to say, here's what we're going to do. So where do we go next? Where do we go next? So we have another program. It's called point.me. I'm going to take a look in that, okay? And what does point.me do? It's going to look for availability, okay? Now, Ben, could I look for availability somewhere else? Yes, you can, but I want you to start here. There's a reason why I want you to start here, because of Star Alliance. So I'm going to take you through basically the most, what makes the most sense and why we're doing what we're doing, okay? So we're doing this for a reason. Okay. So you see Star Alliance here, right? You can see the Star Alliance. Okay. Ben, I don't have Singapore airline miles. Can I fly Singapore Airlines? Yes, you can, if you have the right program. So let me start off with this. I'm going to take a couple steps back. You want to collect transferable currencies. You want to collect airline programs, points that can transfer to multiple airlines, like Chase Ultimate Rewards, like American Express Platinum, American Express membership rewards, Citi Thank You, Capital One, those 4 programs and bills. Okay, there's 5 major transferable programs. There's another one, it's a hotel program called Marriott. but Marriott would require you to transfer 3 Marriott points to become 1 airline mile. So not a good option, but if it's the only option you have, then it's possible, but not my first option to tell you go, oh, transfer all your Marriott to airline. It's possible, but not my first option. You may want to top it off, meaning like, let's say you already had 50,000 miles and you're shy of maybe 10,000, then yeah, then take 30,000 Marriott and bring it over to make that makes sense. But the bulk of your points should not be coming from Marriott, if that makes sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to fly to Singapore, I could do this. I could either use United miles to fly Singapore. Okay, that's one option. And if you don't have United miles, you can have Chase, and Chase transfer to United 1-to-1. Now, if you don't have, if you may go, well, I don't have Singapore airline miles. Can I fly Singapore? Yes, you can. Once again, if you have Chase, they do transfer to Singapore as well. So not only do they transfer United, but they're also Singapore. So let me just do it here. I have
we call this Chris miles.
Airlines that we can take a look at. I don't have many. Let me just pull this up. Okay, so I want you to take a look. So we go to Singapore. You see here, Singapore. They transfer from Chase. Okay, I'm sorry, Singapore. They transfer from Chase, Capital One, Amex, and Citi. Thank you. So 4 of the 5 programs all have Singapore. Does that make sense? So if you have any of those, you have Singapore airline miles. United miles, they transfer from only Chase and from Build. But Singapore, pretty much everyone has Singapore Airlines. I will say this. Amex and Chase, this blue, the first and the third, Chase and Amex, they do transfer the quickest. So if you have points coming from them, they can transfer quicker. I've been transferring out of Amex to Singapore this week, and it's averaging about 2 hours. So in 2 hours, I transfer it. Usually it's there. I'll transfer at night. I go to sleep, wake up in the morning. It's already in the morning. Yeah, but I've done it during the daytime as well, but it takes a couple hours, but it'll be there. All right. Any questions so far? Michael?
No.
So far, so good? Okay, good.
So far, so good.
Okay, good. I don't want to lose anyone. This is kind of instructional tutorial. So I just want to make sure everybody okay. So the second site we're going to go to is point.me. Point.me will look for availability of 95% of the airlines. Current, like right now. Okay. So I log into my system. This is a paid subscription, but I think it's totally worth it. Now, you can put in 1, 2, 3 if you want to go look for it. I'm just looking at 1 for right now, okay? And I can either look for economy or I can look for business and first, okay? So I'm going to put in here JFK, okay? And then I'm going to put in Singapore. And it helps you even if you don't know.
Yeah, SIN. I think it's SIN.
It's SIN, but it's not popping up.
Oh, not no. Been there one time.
Have you?
Yeah. That's the best airport I've been to so far. I mean, not that I've been to a ton of them, but that was the best airport I've been to.
Is it? I mean, it's 24 hours.
Yeah. I hear people just go there just to hang. So many things to do.
Talk a little bit about been doing this for some time. There is an award booking service called Juicy Miles. They will actually do the booking for you. So I'll just let you know right now. There's lots of award booking service. I've kind of moved away from that being my primary business. I used to do award booking for people, but I don't do it as much as I used to anyway. If you're in the mentorship, I'll kind of walk you through it because my goal is this, Michael. My goal is this. I want to teach you how to do it. I could do it for you, but I think it's more important. And the people I think that come to mentorship is like they want to learn how they can do it, how they can search it. And I'm not trying to waste much of your time. I'm trying to reduce the amount of time that you have when you're doing your searches. So I want you to kind of start this process, and then you can tweak it if you like. But basically, these are the things that you need to be aware of. Okay. So this is the thing. This is not the end all be all. I don't want you to, this is the place to start so that you can eliminate the waste of time of searching a program and finding out that they don't have availability. Does that make sense? So this program, this job is to look for availability. Okay. And there's a couple now, one of the things that a lot of people will ask for, which it does not have yet, is that it cannot search for multiple dates. One date at a time, but it's searching for every program, 90% of them under the sun at that time. Okay. So I'm using right now 118. So January 18, it does take a little time. As you can see here, it takes 24 of 33 programs right now. I can actually be searching or looking at these flights as they go. Now, whatever pops up the first is not the first one I'm going to recommend to you. Instead of looking at quickest flights, I want to go to points low to high. I'm going to look from the lowest to the highest. So I want to look at what is the least amount. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go this way. I just like to look at start off with the least, and then I can see if that works for me, and then I can go from there if I want. If I don't like now, when I go least amount, also I will say this: the lower the points, it tends to be the longer the flight, meaning that they may have connections. That may have one connection, may have two connections. So if you don't want to do extra connections, this just be aware that that's going to be one of the okay. That's going to be one of the options. So I'm looking right now at Emirates, EWR out of JFK, or out, so not out of JFK, but out of Newark, to Dubai, and then Dubai to Singapore. This is the least amount of points currently on that date. Now, if tomorrow there's a change, or later on there's a change, this will change as well. So this is a live view. You can see it every day, and you may see something different because inventory is changing. So if I were to book it right now, they're saying that this is available. This is not a chart. This is not saying, well, hypothetically, you can get 88,000, which is what a lot of the videos, when they're doing, they're usually going, hypothetically, on certain dates, here's the lowest you can get. I'm not guaranteeing I can get that, but this here on this program, Point.me is saying right now, Ben, if I want to go book an Emirates flight in business and economy. Oh, I just want to make sure we're right here. Mixed class ticket, 68% premium. Okay, I want to clarify this with you. When we go to an airline normally, and we put in, we want business class, and there's two legs. There's the initial leg and then the second leg, and we have a connection. If we say we want business class, the system's written to go, he wants business in both, which is true. You don't want to fly economy one leg and then in business the other. Now, maybe you're okay with economy on the short haul flight, maybe a 2-hour flight, and then long haul 12 hours business, right? Or first, maybe you're fine with that. But the system in most airlines, the way they program it, does not do it that way. They will think if Michael's asking for business class, he wants business class in both. So if I cannot get him business class in both, I'll come back with no availability. No availability. So this is really important. So if you're looking on the airline directly, if you don't want to have the Point.me and you want to go and search on the airline directly, you will find that if you do a search from point A to point B, like JFK to Singapore, right? Or IAD to JFK to Singapore, those two legs. Okay. If those are the cases you're looking at, and you're looking at those two particular legs, what you will find is that if you ask for both and they cannot even get you on both, they will come back with no availability. And you're going, there's no availability, but there really was. If you had looked segment by segment, does that make sense? Okay. So what Point.me is doing is that Point.me is saying, I'm going to do what you're thinking, Michael. You want to fly business class. I don't want to come back with nothing. I'm going to say, well, this leg is economy and this leg is premium. Does that make sense? So it's going to help you in another way. So it's saying right here, this is mixed class, 68% of the flight. Okay, so let's take a look at right here. So it says here, New York to Dubai is in business. That's your long leg. This is also another long leg. Okay, so they're both kind of long legs here. And this is going to be economy. This is in business. But that's the reason why, too, it's only 88,000 points, if that makes sense.
Which okay, the second leg is economy. Okay. Yeah, so
the first leg is business and the second leg is economy.
Okay. But both of them together are 88.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
But this is the thing. Some airlines will charge you like prorated because you're only playing one. Some airlines, Michael, doesn't care. They do not care that they put you on economy on the second leg. They're still charging you for business for the whole darn thing. even though you're flying economy on one of the legs. So you got to be careful. Know what you're getting. Know what you're getting.
Question: why is that considered 2 stops, or why is it considered 2 stops? It's stopping in Dubai and then you're to your destination, or are we looking at this as a round trip?
Yeah,
So it's 2 stops between
it's only one stop.
coming and going.
Is it 2 different airlines? No, same.
I forget. Did you even mention if you want a round trip or not, or one way when you?
Good question. By the way, that is 1 stop. That should not be 2 stops. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I put JFK as opposed to, but that is 1 stop. That's not a 2 stop. That's 1 stop. Okay, Ben, why am I looking for one way versus if I want round trip? Because the same reason that I just gave you earlier, where if I'm looking for 1 leg at a time, I will find it. If I do 4 legs, now I'm saying, Ben, I need 4 business class legs. Even more chance they're going to say, no, I don't have it all. So when you're searching, you want to search leg by leg, as opposed to the whole entirety of the trip. You want to look segment by segment by segment by segment. So another thing that point.me is trying to help you save time. Instead of searching segment by segment, they at least get you from point A to point B, your destination, with the 2 legs, and says, here's the way you get there. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, it's in 4 searches to make sure you found availability. Because you may be going, okay, you know what? I'm fine with the long leg being business, but I'm not fine with the short leg being business, the long leg being economy. And you would think like, well, what mean airline would ever do that? Yes, there are mean airlines that will literally put you in business class on the short leg and give you economy on the long leg. You didn't hear this, American Airlines. Hear this, American Airlines, that will do that to you. Okay? So now if you're wondering, is this a good deal? I don't know. It may be. If you're fine with New York to Dubai in business, better than, I mean, it's a long trip, so 87,000.
I've flown to Dubai I've flown from Singapore to Dubai to Boston. That was when I was coming home from a cruise that ended in Singapore. So I did, it was Emirates Airline flying from Singapore to Dubai, but then it was JetBlue. No, it was JetBlue when I got home. I'm sorry.
Yeah, JetBlue is about to fly to France and already flying to London. But
it was when I got back to Boston, I flew JetBlue back to, so I flew from Dubai to Boston on Emirates.
I want to welcome Peggy. Peggy is a guest here with us and a longtime supporter. Welcome, Peggy. How are you?
Hi, Michael. Hi, Ben. Thanks for letting me observe. I didn't see the message till just now, but
no worries.
I see we're looking at point.me.
Okay, so just give you a background on what we're doing. This is being recorded, just to let everybody know. This is being recorded. I am on for my mentorship group, and then I'm also planning to store this on, I'm planning moving forward, Peggy, to store more of these things that I'm doing in YouTube. So it'll be a private YouTube for now, at least anyway, but I'm planning to have it there so it's easier accessible for everyone. Does that make sense for the ones that are in the mentorship? So it's going to be, I'm going to put it right now. I'm playing around with different places to store this right now, because Zoom charges a lot of money to me to store all their videos. I mean, it's great. The audio, the quality is fantastic. I'm even planning on doing a podcast this coming year in 23. And I think I'm gonna record via Zoom just for the audio, because they told me it's fantastic. So no problem with the audio piece of it, but I'm gonna plan to save it on YouTube is what my future I'm thinking about, as opposed to collecting all this huge storage. I pay every month, by the way, Peggy, just to have all this videos on.
That's probably a good idea, putting it on YouTube. I like that.
I'm looking at, I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So just want everybody to know. Okay, so I'm talking today, Peggy, about, generally speaking, what tools do I use and what are the steps that we should take? I talked already about flight connections, and I moved on from flight connection. We're looking right now, we're using as our example, how do we get to Singapore? Okay. And we found that Michael's in Virginia. IAD out of Dulles is the closest airport there, and we're going to try to get him to Singapore. What way should we do that? I'm not going to talk about connections. I'm not going to talk about Japan. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the tools that we use and how do we best use it and why they're used. Okay, Just give you an idea. And if you have questions, Peggy, you and Michael are basically going to represent the mentorship right now because they are not here. They're going to listen to on the replay. So if you have questions that you think are pertinent, that you think they may be interested or asked for, feel free to ask, or if you think they're important. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So we're looking right now at that date, January the 18th. We're here on point.me. We're looking at different prices. Here we have a business and economy. So it's mixed cabin. So this is what they call mixed cabin. When you find one leg is in premium, one leg is in economy, that's called a mixed cabin. Not ideal. Worst comes to worst, sure, but not my first thing. So I'm going to keep looking. Okay. So I'm keeping looking. And by the way, if I look at point.me right now and I come over here, this adds a plus tax, which I do like. Many times on the website, their airline do not tell you the taxes until you transfer the points over. Then they tell you, oh, $300 in taxes.
Oh.
Not fun. Not fun. You're like, whoa, what happened here? You know, I thought it was just 40,000 miles. Oh no, 40,000 and $100 a person. About, you know, next thing you know, you're like, maybe I should have transferred life miles instead. So I like, what I do like about point.me is this. Now, I already mentioned what I don't like about it is that you can only search one day at a time. And it does take a time. Those are my main thing. It does only search one day at a time. And it does take, there's going to be another tool I'm going to show you in a second that can search multiple days. But this is one of the first things what I do like about it. It's very easy to follow. Now, you can see here, there's a huge jump, 477,000. I'm not even looking at these things. This is like ridiculous. Once we're like in the 400,000, like if it's over 200,000, I don't even want to look anymore. Like, and I need, even if it's business or first, you should not be paying more than like in the hundreds. 100 something is like absolutely the max. I mean, ideally, if you could get Save Rewards, you're somewhere in the 70, 80,000, like 88,000 would have been perfectly fine if this was, you know, both legs, you know, but I mean, I just chose a random date. Okay. So
what is the Aeroplan one that
okay.
87?
Okay. So
that is showing.
So the way that you're going to book Emirates is, in this particular case, is you have a couple options. Okay, so let's take a look. How do I book 88,000 for Emirates? This is not going to go from Chase right to Emirates. This is not that scenario. This is going to be Capital One to Aeroplan. Aeroplan, one of the largest networks. Now, let's start off with this. Air Canada Aeroplan is one of the best programs or no, I'd say one of the best. They're one of the favorite programs that points and miles people like to use. It is a program I would recommend everyone go sign up for free. You can sign up for Aeroplan membership. Okay, it's free. It's under Air Canada. They are our neighbors to the north. Let me just let you know right now. Our neighbors to the north, Air Canada's Aeroplan, their mileage program, they are so interested in getting American customers, not Canadian customers. They have a monopoly on Canadian. They're the flagship carrier for Air Canada. That's their plan. They want the American dollars. They want us to not only get their program, but they also want us to become their elite. I don't even know what I'm thinking. Like elite? How? I mean, unless I'm flying Air Canada, how? They have a credit card now, and they signed a deal with Chase that even the Canadians that live in Canada cannot get. They created a credit card co-branded just for Americans. Just think about that for a second, okay? Like that's how much they want us, that their own customers in Canada cannot get. Like if I'm in Canada and I want to get a Chase credit card with Aeroplan, I cannot get it. I have to go get a TD bank card. I have to get my own banks because Chase is not in Canada. So the fact that they signed a deal with Chase is telling us, hey, if you become an Air Canada loyal member, we want you to spend your US dollars with us, because the US dollar is like 30% more than their Canadian dollar. So I just want to let you know that's the perspective coming in. So I almost want you to treat Air Canada like a US plan. I mean, Aeroplan. One great thing that Aeroplan has is that they do not charge fuel surcharges on some of their programs. Okay, so some of their programs, they do not charge fuel surcharges. Some of them, they do get kind of high. But this is a great thing, and I think I like about Aeroplan the most, is that Aeroplan has more partners than anyone else. Aeroplan has more partners than anyone else. What do I mean by that? This is what I mean. You see this? You see this? The Star Alliance? Do you see Air Canada's right here, right? Air Canada's, I don't know if you can see, right here at the very top, Air Canada. Michael, Peggy, do you see on the right page?
Yes.
Are you all?
think
Yes, I
so.
see.
This Air Canada, Star
Michael?
Alliance, yes.
I think Michael froze, that's why.
Oh,
Okay,
you hear me?
Peggy. So now I hear you.
I can hear Michael.
I can hear you now. So Air Canada is part of Star Alliance. Star Alliance, out of all the alliances, is the largest. But Air Canada not only has these airlines, they have more. They have this plus more. They have like 45 partners. Now, what does that mean? That means if you have Air Canada miles, you can transfer them. I'm sorry. Let me take it back. If you have Air Canada miles, you don't need a transfer. You can just book them out of the Air Canada website. Okay, they can just book them out of Air Canada website. So that means all these airlines plus them. Like, for example, they just signed up other ones like Bamboo recently. They fly to Vietnam. So even though Vietnam doesn't show up here, you have Thai and you have Singapore, they now have Bamboo Airlines. They also signed a deal with Emirates. Emirates is not in that list. Emirates doesn't belong to Emirates. And so these new partnerships allow you to use Air Canada miles on any of these airlines. So I highly encourage you to look at Air Canada, and their customer service is pretty good. You can do a lot of stuff online as well. They make it a lot more feasible that you can do it online. You don't have to pick up the phone to call. So very, very good from that perspective. And you can even use it for United flights if you want to use it for United flights, okay? Look at the tool. I'm just going to share with you. These are some of the things that you're going to like. And they are Star Alliance member, but they also have partnerships with non-Star Alliance members. So it's kind of like, some people call it polygamy. Like, this is their wife. Star Alliance is like their wife, but they got tons of side chicks, hustles. They got tons of them, a lot. Okay, a lot. I don't know how. I don't know how Star Alliance allows it to happen. Right? Think about this, for example. If this is my family, if this is my wife and this is my family, how do they allow Air Canada to go have all these side partnerships? I don't know. I'm not complaining, but they do. So they're allowed to use their program for a lot of airlines. So Air Canada, good one to have. So if you don't have United, I would say Air Canada is your next one. Now, let me add this too. If you fly any of these airlines on cash, if you're flying any of them on cash, I would credit it to United or Air Canada's Aeroplan. I would, because their Air Canada Aeroplan right now is quite lucrative. They've redone their entire program. We may need to do another call, Michael. Now you got me thinking about Air Canada. We may need to do another call just to talk about Air Canada's Aeroplan. Now, they just redid their program, so not a lot of people have a ton of experience with their new program, but now they have like 5 levels of status. In fact, if you get the credit card, they give you like their 1 level. And if you already have status with them and you get the credit card, they move you up 1. So like if you have 25K with them and you go get the credit card, they move you up to the next level. And then they have things like, if you spend, kind of like American Airlines, if you spend on their credit card, then you get like, they have like new upgrades that not only can use it on Air Canada, but they're letting you use the upgrades that Air Canada gives you on other Star Alliance members. It's pretty cool. Like they have some new innovative stuff. The thing is, their program is run by Scott O'Leary, he's a points and miles fanatic himself, and they want to have literally the best loyalty program out there. So something to consider. By the way, I'm not being paid by Air Canada to talk about this. I don't know. I'm just sharing with you that a lot of people do use Air Canada. It's reliable. There's a lot of, you don't always get the biggest sales, but when it does happen, it's pretty good. Like for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say I want to go to Japan, or I want to go to Southeast Asia. You will see in the blogs, people will say, oh, Ben, Virgin Atlantic, the cheapest. So go use Virgin Atlantic to fly ANA Airlines, okay? I'll say that. Do you know that Air Canada can also fly ANA? Now, does Air Canada charge the low amount that Virgin Atlantic? No. But this is the thing. Can you go find Virgin Atlantic at 45,000 one way, 90,000 round trip? How easy is it? Oh, Ben, it's so hard. People go in there looking for it. No availability, no availability. What good is it really low if there's never availability? That's my first question to you. What good is it if it's never available? How good is it when it's like a needle in a haystack? So when people go, well, what is the least? What is the best redemption? Don't look for the best redemption. You can look for the best redemption, but the best redemption is the one that you can find. That's the one that you can find for the dates that you want. And so sometimes the comment that come back is, well, you got to be flexible. No, not everyone has a flexibility. Sometimes you have flexibility, sometimes you don't. If you're a family traveler or if you traveling with other people, you know, sometimes it isn't. Now, if you're solo, if you just have to, okay, you maybe be more flexible. So I'm trying to share with you that if you're trying to make the best redemption for yourself, it's not always the easiest to go for the best redemption. Like, let me give you an example. If the best redemption to Asia or Southeast Asia in business class is 70,000 miles, and it can go up to 95,000 miles, okay? It's more likely that 95,000 miles is easier to find than 75,000. Does that make sense? 95,000 miles for business class is going to be easier than 75,000. So why is this important? Because when I'm collecting miles, I don't want to tell you, Michael, all you need to do is go get 70,000 miles and you can fly business class. I don't want to say that. Give me a buffer. Give me a buffer of 100, because you have 100. Now I got more choices. Otherwise, I'm only looking for that needle in the haystack with the 70,000. Does that make sense? So although you can do it for as low as 70, I would shoot for 100,000 just to give yourself the buffer so you have most options as possible. Okay. Peggy, is this good? All right. Let me go to this. Okay, so Capital One transfer the Aeroplan, Amex transfer the Aeroplan, Chase transfer Aeroplan. So I'm showing you 3 different banks that you can transfer to, and it's only $85. You see how the surcharges are very low, as you can see. Now, are there times where Aeroplan can charge more than that? Yes, there can. Okay, but it may be airport taxes, it can be all that kind of stuff. But just give you an idea, what these things are is what they call today, they used to call them fuel surcharges. And what a fuel surcharge was is that when back about 5 or 6 years ago, when the gas prices got really high, like they are right now, airlines started charging more fees because their gas went up. So they called them fuel surcharges. And we were all like, okay, we understand. But when the price came back down, the airlines, guess what? They never brought them down. And eventually, when the gas prices were low, we're kind of like, you're still calling it fuel surcharges. Why am I paying fuel surcharges when the gas prices are all-time low? And so they eventually changed the wording from fuel surcharges to carrier imposed surcharges. In fact, when you fly most of the time now, you will find that your airfare, if you got a really good deal on a cash ticket, your airfare base ticket is very low, but the taxes, the fuel surcharges, the carrier, that makes up the majority of your ticket. Sometimes when you get those really deep discounted economy trips, it is because the fuel surcharges are still there, and that's what you're paying. So some airline programs will pass that on to you, like British Airways will pass that on to you. Whereas United, Aeroplan on some programs, they do not pass it on for you. So that way you're just paying just the taxes, if that makes sense. Okay. So those are ones that some people like to like. Now, Air France, people talk about it all the time. Air France will pass on those fuel surcharges to you. Okay. But Air France also has a lot more award availability. Okay. So this is the thing. You have to balance award availability with fuel surcharges or pay more in points. Okay. So just be aware that that's the give and take. That's going to be the give and take. Like right now, British Airways just changed their program. They went from low points, high fuel surcharges. You know what they did now? Oh, we're going to lower the fuel surcharges. Okay, very good. But the points going to go up. That's what they just did recently. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. People are like, oh, but you charge me more points. Oh, but I'm paying less cash. It depends. If you have a lot more points, you don't mind. If you have less points and you go, I'd rather pay, it depends. You want to save cash or you want to save points? It's going to come down to from that perspective. Everyone's going to be different. Any questions there? Just kind of give you guys an idea on that. But great question.
What the $500 Just give me a 500-point difference between transferring from Capital. Because 87,500 and the other two from Chase and Amex are 88 points. I just want to know why there's a $500 dip, but transferring from Capital One.
That's a great question. I don't know the difference on that particular one. Most airlines, I'll say this, most airlines will only let you transfer 1,000 increments. You cannot transfer 87,500. You have to transfer 88,000. I don't know if that's because Capital One allows you to transfer in 500 point increments. I'll have to take a look at that. I don't think that's the case. And so that may be the reason why. So even if I need to transfer 41,500 points, guess what? When I actually do the actual transfer, I need to transfer 42,000. I can't transfer 500. So that may be part of the difference there. It may be a programming thing. So the actual redemption may be 87,500, but when Amex makes the transfer, Amex will go, you need to transfer 88. You can't transfer 87. So I think that's going to be the difference there. Okay, good question. Good question. All great questions. I love this so far. Peggy, do we have any? Do you have any from you?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead now. Now that we know, we want to go to, we're going to go to Life Miles. I'm sorry, we're going to go to Aeroplan. What am I saying? Aeroplan. Oh, by the way, can I just show everyone this new site? This is a new site. We all know Seat Guru, right? Have you heard of Aerolopa? Aerolopa. Now, it is not as good as Seat Guru in terms of having every plane and everything, but this is one thing I noticed about Seat Guru. Okay, well, actually, before we go there, okay, I'm sidetracking for a second, but I think it's important for you to know. When you're looking at seat selection, by the way, let's start. Let me just let you know this. I've had people lose out on getting an award ticket. Remember that time a month ago? I said, everyone, I did a reel on it. San Francisco to Hong Kong on United, 4 seats, 5 seats, the whole calendar is open, the whole summer's open, multiple 75,000 points, business class. I made a reel about it. I told everyone about it. I had students who came to me, said, Ben, ready to book, I got everything, points there, ready to transfer, and they don't transfer. And I said, why? You wanted to go there? He goes, yes. I said, I'm looking for seat selection. I said, you're what? So I was looking, I really confirmed this. I couldn't find the seat. I couldn't see the seat selection. They went so deep in, they're ready to book, but they didn't pick the seat selection. Guess what happened 6 hours later? Boom, it's all gone. All because of seat selection. Do not let seat selection stop you, okay, from booking a business class ticket, because now you're going to be sitting in economy and stressing for the next 2, 3, 4 months still, looking for award availability because what, seat selection? Let me just clarify with everyone. If they opened up 5 seats, 6 seats, 7 seats, the damn cabin is wide open. The cabin is wide open. If the cabin wasn't open, they wouldn't have 5, 6 available. This is like summer of 2023. We're 6 months away. I wouldn't worry about that. That makes sense? I wouldn't worry about that. Jonathan, good seeing you. Jonathan, we already started. I thought you, maybe you just got here. Maybe you just got here. Jonathan, I'm recording this, so don't worry, but we got started about an hour ago.
Oh,
It's
all
at,
right.
It was at 4. It was at 4 and 7. I started an hour. I don't know if you got it. I know I'm all off on the time zones. Michael, we're going to see like 10 people join us right now.
All right.
But I'm just sharing with you right now. Do not let the seat selection stop you from booking the flight. Do not do that, because especially when it's award ticket and there's open availability. If I tell you there's a big sale and there's a flat, okay, let me just take a step back. This is really important. Airlines want to sell their seat. They do not want to give it to people who use points and miles, because I just want you to think of it. Do they rather you redeem your points or rather get cash from customers? They're going to take cash, right? They want cash. So when they open award availability, it's a couple reasons. Number one, they want people to be interested in a route. They don't want to fly. They don't want to fly empty. They will give enough because they're selling the miles, so they want to get people excited about them and the route. And they're going to do it for a short period of time. They're not going to leave it open for days and days and days and days, especially when it becomes public. The more that people know about it, the more interest and they're going to be doing it. They're strategic when they open up. They don't just open it for no reason, but they're going to close it up real soon. So when you jump on it, you need to jump on it. So here are the tools that you need to know. So if you want to look for seat selection, you can come here to Seat Guru and we can look up the flight, okay? And then you can go, okay, you put in the airline and the flight. I'm going to go back to it right now, but I'm just going to show you. This is where you go. Go to Seat Guru, okay? And then you can go, okay, this is Airbus 330. You click it and it looks like this, okay? And it tells you, here's the pitch. That's the, by the way, the pitch is how much space between your seat and the seat in front of you, okay? 60 inches for the back of the seat to the back seat in front of you. That's pretty good. Width, 24. This is huge. By the way, if you're sitting on an economy seat, normally you're 17.5. Some of them get to 18. 18 is awesome. You get to 18 width. 24 is another 6, maybe even 7 more inches, depending on what you're normally used to, because it's width. And this is angle lie flat. So it's not a flat, it's angle lie, means like it's almost, it lets you recline a lot. It's maybe a hardback shell. It's not as good. And then there have some photos from travelers, but it's not like the best photos, but some people take photos. And so that's what it looks like. So they show you some photos here. So that is Seat Guru, okay? There's a new upstart company that's trying to get started, and they're called Aerolopa. And Aerolopa, you can go look at their seat selection now. So this is really interesting. You can come here, Singapore Airlines, you can look at, and they kind of do it a little bit nicer looking. So let's say you're looking at that 737, you click on that and they'll tell you here. So theirs kind of give you this more of a perspective here. Their map looks a little bit better. They don't have, now since they're a startup, they don't have like they don't have a lot of the other things. Like they don't have like photos from travelers and things like that yet, but they're trying to put it together. They don't have every airline, but they have quite a bit of them. So I like it. I mean, it's not bad. It's good to see what the cabin looks like, at least configuration. This is business class, looks like this. It's a shell, things like that versus a lay flat. Like let's say I'm looking at let's look at Etihad's 380. Etihad has first class. So let's just look at that. So first business, by the way, I want to clarify, okay? When you're looking at, okay, so at 380, they don't fly too many more, but 380 is a double decker. So this is the bottom row. So this is the main deck, which is the bottom. And this is going to be 343. When I say 343, what I mean is 3 seats, 4 seats, 3 seats. When we talk about narrow body, there's 1 aisle through the middle. When we talk about wide body, like this is 2 aisles. So the fact that there's 2 aisles, we call that a wide body airplane, okay? Whenever there's 2. When I choose seats, I like to go, and there's 3 of me, there's 3 of us in our family. I usually like to choose, I could use across, I could do that way. But if there's 2 of us and we're sitting across 3, I usually pick A and C or H and K, hoping that J will be left empty, because people don't want to go sit in the middle. So they'll usually sit in a row behind you. So when I sit, even if I want to sit together, I will choose H and K or A and C, hoping that nobody wants to take that middle seat. Okay. Same thing with in the back. Now, if I want to increase my chances of nobody sitting with me, I will move back further, because when they fill up the seats, they usually fill up the front first. So if I wanted, if I didn't really care and they're all the same, I would probably pick somewhere around here. Like around row 46 of this map is a good place where people don't usually going to pick the middle seat, because usually people want to be at the front of the plane. So they'll take front of the plane and take the middle, or that's where the airline will put them in front. So they'll fill up the middles on the first part. So I usually like to pick the middle, like 46A and C, rather than picking 41A and C, because most likely if I put 41A and C, someone's going to sit in the middle. But if I go farther back, less likelihood. Okay, makes sense? All right. Now on this plane, there's an upper deck. So the upper deck is where they have the business and first class. So let's just kind of start here. This is their business class. So it's 2, 2, 2. So it's 2, 2, 2 going across, and that's your business class. And then they have their first class. So the first class goes like 4A, so it's 2 and 2. And then they have something like ultra first class. They call it the suite. They call it the residence, where it's like literally you lay down, and then they also have a shower as well. So that's Etihad's one. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up soon. I only broke this for an hour, but I wanted to share with you. Let's actually go to Aeroplan. So let's just go to Aeroplan right now. That's how I got an Aeroplan. I put Aero and all of a sudden Aeroplan comes up. But good. We talk about seat selection. Do not let seat selection stop you from booking. Book first, deal with seat selection next. Okay. Unless you want to try to fly a certain flight, then you need to look for the right aircraft. Then that's when you come to seat selection for that. But I wouldn't, if you're dealing with a big, huge family, I wouldn't worry about those things too much. Okay. All right. We had 1/18, right? I think January 18 was the flight we're looking for.
Is January 18 like Michael's date when he wants to go to Singapore, or is that the date in the example?
Randomly chose a date. I didn't have to.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
All right.
being with the date that I was looking up now, but no, it wasn't. This is not even his flight. This is just a flight that I'm literally making up. But I'm not talking about necessarily Bali. I'm not talking about Singapore. I'm just using this as the destination just for the lesson anyway. So when I'm doing a search, I'm going to go one way. I'm going to click here, book Aeroplan points. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. We already know JFK or EWR. I think it was EWR to where are we at? Point Singapore. And travel days was the 18. We're going to go search flight. So now that we know that Point.me says the availability is there, but I need to know for myself. Their job is to identify for me. Their job is not to make, oh, go ahead and transfer. I'm not transferring right away. Okay. So you can see here's that 87.5 right there. You see, you found it. That's flight that we're talking about. And it's mixed cabin. It tells you right here, New York to Dubai, Singapore. So if I want to go ahead and pick that, I have lowest fare, 87K, right? Or they also have a refundable option if you want to do refundable, but I'm not sure why you need to choose a refundable when it's typically for fun. I mean, by the way, they do charge you a fee now. I believe it's like $100. I think if they did increase the fee on that one if you do cancel it. So there is a fee now, whereas before there was not. So I will say that is one of the kind of negative takeaways. Some of the other programs have a redeposit fee. They have changed that, but this is one option. Just be aware. So let's just say we go ahead and try to book this. Okay, now I need to have points. By the way, did I really I was trying to be specific about the time. Susan, did I communicate wrong? I'm just on the time. I'm not sure if everybody got it right. I know everyone's trying to join in right now. But
And you
okay.
got, the time was good.
I was off, right? I mean, I was just that people can, if you can join in, I'm fine with everybody joining in. I just want to make sure I didn't throw off the wrong time, everyone. All right. So here we are. By the way, I have this on recording, so you can go back to listen to it. Michael and Peggy have been representing the group and asking questions, so you can thank them for that. So here we go. So we're ready to book. Do you not have enough points? They'll ask you to buy. I'm not going to try buy. So now I'm going to go to American Express. Okay. So now I go to American Express. Okay. Now that I know the flight is there, then I can now go to American Express. So let me recap. First, we went to flight connections. We looked for the flight. Then we went to Point.me to look for the ward ticket availability. Then we went here to Air Canada to make sure it's there, right? Okay, and then we have it now. Then we now go to American Express to transfer the points. Does everyone make sense? We got 4 steps that we have to do. Okay. This is the most efficient way and correct way for you to identify how to get from point A to point B using points and miles. Okay. So I'm going to come over here now, and then I'm going to go open up American Express, and I'm going to transfer the points from American Express to Aeroplan. So I'm going to click there. I'm going to click the award. I'm going to come over here. Okay. Now, when you come over here, you're going to see this. It says earn and redeem. You see it says transfer points. You're going to come down here to transfer points. You're going to click transfer points. And then it's going to take me. Now, hopefully I already have an Aeroplan, which I have at this point. If I do not, and I have not enrolled, then I come over here, like see Aer Lingus and things like that, or ANA, I can go and register, and I just put in my number. But I already enrolled, so I come here to Aeroplan, and now I just put in how many points. So I want to transfer 85,000 points, and then 85,000 points, it goes over to the account that I link. Okay, you can see here minimum transfer time can take up to 48 hours, but typically it's more like 2 hours. And then you can transfer 1,000 minimum, almost a million, 999,000 that way. Okay, so that's one way that you can do it. And then you transfer and it goes over. And then now you already know and you're ready to book. Okay, any questions on that? So first, let me recap. We wanted to go from home, from Michael's home here. So he's in IAD. So but we looked and we start off at the back, and we start off with Singapore as a destination. And we found out what the destination was. And we said, oh, here are the 4 cities that you could fly to, that fly there nonstop. We go, we look at that. The closest one's JFK. And so he's going to probably take a positioning flight, either Southwest, JetBlue, or whoever to get to. So when he's doing a search, you're not doing a search from your hometown. You're doing a search from where Flight Connection says that your nonstop leg is going to go from. Does that make sense? And then he doesn't have to search for the rest of the country because he now knows Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, and LA are the other ones if he can't find anything out of JFK. Then we come over to point.me. We look at point.me, and then we have identified the flight. And then we could look at the seat selection if you want, but don't let that slow you down. Then you come to the program itself, and then you find the availability like you want, and it confirmed the space is there. Then you transfer the points from American Express or from Chase or from Capital One. And then you look at your chart that you have. You look at your chart. Okay. Now, by the way, if you're wondering, I'm just giving you the recap of what we just covered over the last hour. Okay. So if you want to come back and watch this, I will have the whole recap of what we just did. Does anyone have questions? Was this good? Jonathan, Susan, I will have the video. You can come back and watch this whole thing. But does anyone have any?
Thanks, man. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I got a question. How do I take the Rakuten money and transfer it into points?
Okay, let's start with this. Rakuten has 2 ways that you can earn money with them. They either give you cash. When you open an account, you can just say, I want cash. And they give you cash back. And they send it to you once every quarter, every 3 months. They accumulate all the cash back and they send you a check or a direct deposit or whatever. You put in your bank account, they deposit right there. That's one way. The second way is you say, Rakuten, I am American Express membership rewards member. I have this credit card that earns Amex points. I now put that credit card number on the Rakuten account, and now they will pay you instead of points. In cash, they're paying you in points. And then they accumulate 3 months of points that you've accumulated. Then they transfer that to that account that you've registered with them from the very beginning.
Okay, so that's something you have to do from the very beginning. If you started your account and got money,
Cash.
you're not able to switch that to points now?
I would do this. This is what I do. I have 2 accounts, one for cash and one for points. I just opened up a second Rakuten account. I don't think you can switch it. Maybe you can now.
You can. You have to go to the website. It
Okay.
doesn't, you can't switch it on the app. You have to go to the website and change it in settings.
So just
can
add
change it.
in your Amex. Do you have an Amex card, first of all, Jonathan?
Yes, I do. I got the one too.
That earns membership rewards? The business platinum, right?
Yes, I do.
And you want to go there and add in your Amex. Let's see, Rakuten. See, mine's already there, so I'm not sure it's gonna show up as a.
Ben, do you have both a business platinum and a personal platinum?
I currently just have a personal. I've had business before, but I do not have right now at this point, don't have a business one.
Okay.
Is there a question about it?
No, that's it.
No.
It was just a factual question.
I have issues with the business platinum. I know some people like it, but I have some issues with it. Okay, here's who the business platinum is good for. If you are planning to earn a lot of points on Amex and you plan to cash it out, I think you need to, and you want to get the 35% back on the portal, then I think it's good for you to have that. I do not, because I don't usually use the 35% for the portal, but I do find some value into it, especially if you have a lot of Amex points and you want to make that redemption. I would make that redemption. On the 35%, because they get back, if you redeem 300,000, you get back 100,000. I mean, just think about that for a second, that's huge. And so you can buy a cash ticket for that. So there's some good things. The Dell credit is probably the best credit out there compared to Uber and on the personal. So there's some good benefits, but at the same time is this, I'm paying $695 for personal. Do I want to go pay another $695 for business platinum? It's good. This is what other people who MS will get an employee card. They'll get employee cards. And then every time you sign up for employee card, a lot of times there's an offer like 20,000 points if you spend, X amount dollar amount. So they're MSing a lot. They just keep on getting multiple employee cards and they're getting all these extra bonuses. So from an earning perspective, the business card is great for that. I don't do enough of that. And so I haven't been able to justify. If I ever decide to start doing that more, then I would probably get a business card, but that would be on my next list. And then I would, in the end, I would probably still keep my personal. I just like that I can book directly. The problem with earning 5 times on business platinum is that you have to book the Amex travel and you can't book directly. So I have a problem with that part of it. It's a good card. If you're not paying annual fees or annual fees not a big deal to you, then I would go get a business platinum, considering now that they have huge bonuses. I don't know if you ever noticed, Peggy, I don't really promote the Amex. My personal link for Amex is because my personal limit or my referral link for Amex is not always the best. So I want you guys, because you can only get it once per lifetime, although there's a lot right now that they're not enforcing the lifetime. I want people to get the best offer possible. With Chase, with Capital One, with Citi, I usually have the best offer possible, but on Amex, I do not. So most best offers possible on Amex are not going to be through an affiliate link. It's going to be through a referral link right now. It's targeted.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, folks. I'm going to close this. Let's see. I'm going to stop the recording.
Oh, I think you were going to show us the Rakuten, where you would switch
Yeah, I think you come
from
here.
cash to membership rewards, maybe.
Yeah. So do you see where it says you're earning American? I already have it, so it's earning American Express points. But you would
I get it.
Yeah, so you're going to come to your profile there and then change it in your profile. So you'll say here you're earning whenever I can, but it'll allow you to earn, and it lets me check in. All this stuff. Okay. So does anyone remember exactly? It's been a while for me. Is it my wallet? I think it's my account.
It's not in account settings. All right, let me look.
It's been a while since I've done it too.
It's account setting.
Same.
I think I actually had to look at another website that went
Here we
over
go.
how to change it.
You see, okay. Jonathan, you there? Jonathan left.
I'm there.
Okay, if you
I
see,
am.
if you come here to account settings,
Account setting.
you see here, it says, how would you like to get paid? You can choose Amex, membership rewards, PayPal, or a big fat check. So you can choose.
I'm
Here we go.
wondering if those options are there for you because you already set it to American Express.
But
Because I can't seem to find my options are PayPal and Big Fat Check.
can you add? It doesn't allow you to put an ad. As I said, I had two accounts. I at the time when they first came out with it, you couldn't do the switch. And so I actually opened up another account with a different email. I just literally opened up. And if you have the same thing, then maybe you're gonna have to just open up another a Rakuten account. And that's what I did.
Okay.
Worst comes to worst, if you can find it, but I would go to account settings. I would think that would be where you would probably do that.
I will go back there and try it again.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna get back to my vacation, but I'm gonna show you guys something first. By the way, yes, you're right. If Susan says if you're military, then they waive the platinum fee. I'm gonna show you guys this hotel. It is probably the best Hyatt hotel value. I don't know value, but I'm gonna just tell you, it's the most gorgeous Hyatt hotel I've ever been to. Peggy, right? Isn't that amazing when I'm saying that?
5,000 points for the hotel you're staying at. Yeah, that's incredible.
Okay. This is the weirdest thing about here. 5,000 points at a beachfront Hyatt resort with a lounge. Let me repeat, with a lounge, beachfront,
Wow.
5,000 points, like beach.
Okay.
I'm going to do a video of that property. I haven't stayed there. I didn't actually stay there. I actually stayed next door to the brand new Andaz that just opened up less than 2 years ago, a year and a half. That's a 15,000. So it's weird. There is a 5,000 point property, and next door to it, it's a 15,000 point property. Okay. Which is still a great deal, by the way, for a free night certificate. And it's very nice, very luxe. I just did a whole reel on it. Now I'm at the third Hyatt. I'm at a third Hyatt. It's Alila. Now, many of you know Alila, Ventana. It's 65,000 points. It's 45,000 points. It's all inclusive. I'm here at the Alila in Bali. This is the original one that they made at Lux. So let me give you a little background on this one, okay? Alila, when it started like 20 years ago, is not a luxury brand. So they have category 1s, 2, 3s, 4s, Mangus, Seminyak. There's different parts. Like Bali is huge island, by the way. It's not a little island like if you took all Hawaiian islands and made it one island, that would be what Bali is. It's huge. Okay. So there's like the middle part, which is like the jungle. When you guys see Bali, the Ubud, where people are doing the swing and then the rice fields. If you ever seen that, that's Ubud. There's a Lila there. I'm going there next. I'm going to be at my 4th Hyatt property here in Bali, by the way. And I'm planning it as I go. I just let you know, I'm planning it as I go. I just booked it last night. This trip, by the way, this trip itself is a really good learning experience. I may be doing some more impromptu stuff just because I want you guys to kind of learn from this particular trip, because you could do what I'm doing right now. I would not recommend it doing with the family. My family has been very flexible. I would not do this for a family. Like I would book I was in Singapore and we're about to fly. I already had the flight. I did not have the hotel. I already had the flight, but the night before about to leave, like, what hotel do you want to stay at? I didn't even have the hotel yet, but I'm gonna share with you. So I'm booking it as I go. I am now at literally the I am at the heaven of Hyatt right now. This is the library, by the way, just give you guys an idea. This is called the library. I'm in a room called the library. Okay. This hotel I'm at, keep in mind, there's a 1,000, there's a category 1, which is 5,000. There's a category 4, 15,000 I just stayed at. Now I'm at a category 7. This is a category, this is 30,000 points a night. The reason when Hyatt decided to buy, they liked this property so much that they decided to make it the brand, the flagship, that they decided to rebrand 3 of them and become wellness and health and mentality and good food, is because of this property I'm at. It's called Alila Villas Uluwatu. There's only 60 of them, just like Ventana. And I'm going to show you guys right now. Okay. You guys have any questions? I'm walking outside. I'm going to walk outside. You guys want to see. So I'm leaving the library And there's this corridor. I'm going to show you guys. Right now. So this is the parking lot. This is little tree area. Those are the villas. Those are the homes. I mean, our residents. There's an entrance when you come in. It's a long way, by the way. It takes like an hour from the airport because of traffic. I'll show you this. Here we go. I'm going to take you right through the lobby. Okay. And I'll take you through the lobby. This is the lobby. If you have a Hyatt website, this was the Hyatt website for a long time. The website front page was this hotel.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Hyatt website hotel, by the way, for a long time. It's called Uluwatu. This is a little pond. There's a pool right there. That's the main pool. By the way, when
I
you guys,
recognize the pool
right? You
from
recognize
some Hyatt photos. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, this hotel is on the Hyatt website. Just giving you guys an idea. This room right here is 750. Base room is $750 a night. By the way, for hotels, the average hotel in this town is $100 a night, $100 to $200 a night. This hotel is $800 on the base room. I'm gonna go to breakfast. We're gonna go to breakfast right now. It's breakfast time. Okay. My wife just walked out, and my daughter's right there. There's Natalie. We're getting a cabana. It looks like we went to go get a cabana with breakfast. I haven't eaten yet. Here's everyone eating breakfast. I have the points people. It's also from cash, and who are the points people? I know exactly who they are. There we go. Yeah. Guys, say hi to my mentorship.
Show them the pool. It's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Guys. Okay, so we're cliffside right now. So that you can see there's a little cliff that's in go. This water is nice and warm. You can see. Oh yeah, it's nice and warm. It's probably like about 85 degrees.
Oh, yeah, that's great water there.
30,000 points. 30, actually, okay. Your free night certificate can be used at Andaz. When you become a globalist, you get a 7-night certificate, 7 category 7, 30,000 point night. You can do that here too. And that's going to be my advice. So one night was 30, one night was 35. I wanted to pay points on one and then use a free night certificate. So I use a free night certificate I got when I became a globalist, when I hit 60 nights. I use that for the 35,000 point night, because even though it goes up to 35, they allow you to use it on a category 7. This is a category 7 hotel. So whether they charge 30 or 35, the certificate, I used it on the 35,000 point night, and then I only paid 30 on the one night that was 30. Okay, you guys can do this too. We're gonna be.
It's absolutely worth it. It's so beautiful here.
I have to say, it is probably, this is better than Ventana. Even though Ventana is all inclusive, I'm telling you, oh, but now, by the way, if you guys decide to come here, I know now the room's director. The room director was so apologetic that the GM couldn't come see me, that she asked if I'd like, while they're getting the room ready, if I'd like to have lunch. So she took care of lunch. So you'll see in my video, my reel, I have lunch, and she actually comped lunch for us. Well, very, very nice. And it's actually quite affordable. When I looked at the prices, like pasta's like $15 here. That's not bad at all. Like I'll order pasta $15. I was like, okay, not bad. I mean, it's high for Bali standards, but I mean, for a hotel and in a place like this, I thought they would go a little higher, and I'm pretty excited. And it's big on food quality. You'll see I'll include in some of the reel that I'm gonna release today about the property itself, and just kind of initial impressions. I think it's fantastic. If you do kind of make your way to Bali, I think this is a great one. I actually want to say it's because of the varying ranges from low end to high end. You can do a sign up with 60,000 points. You can go stay at the Hyatt Regency for 12 nights on 60,000. I just want you to think about it. 12 nights at a hotel beachfront for 60,000 points. It's unfreaking believable. And, or you can come all the way here and you'll use your 7-night certificate here too and go, go baller out, and Instagram your way all the way to it. I'm just letting you guys know. Incredible. I'm so happy you guys are joining me on this journey. I really do. You guys will, I want to see you guys when you're doing this, when you're doing all this. I know Hassan's not on this call, but he wanted a room with a pool. I haven't even showed you my room. My room is a villa with a pool. And by the way, it's not just me. I'm telling you, there's 60 rooms here, and every room is, I think, has their own pool. I almost want to think every room has its own pool. Yes. Anyway, I'm just telling you, forget about Las Vegas. You can go do that, go get your status matches. But I'll tell you, if you want to have a great time, come explore over here, and they treat you, and you guys get the statuses I'm telling you about. You guys will love it. There's a reason why Asia and Middle East is probably some of the best places to travel to, and they are fantastic. The breakfast, you guys are gonna love it. There's two restaurants here. There's an Indonesian place, and then this is the Western restaurant. And the views are spectacular. There's a beach. It is kind of cliffside. You do have to go down 600 steps to go down to the beach. But beautiful views, great place to hang out. I would say that highly encourage you guys to all come. Okay. We'll have another one next. It'll be Ubud, which is where the jungle is, where all the temples. So we're gonna go from the beach. We're gonna go deep into the jungle. That's my next day. So I'm here tonight, and then tomorrow we leave for Ubud. And then eventually I gotta get to my destination. I'm not even at my destination. These are all my stopovers on my way to Thailand. I'm trying to get to Thailand, and I will eventually get there.
Where in Thailand are you going to Phuket or
I'm flying into,
main Chai?
I'm going to Bangkok first, but I will make my way to Phuket as well. So we'll get there both. And then I got to get back because my daughter goes back to school on the 9th, on the week of the 9th. And then Sheeta 3 invited me to join. I don't know if you guys know Sheeta and Dub, but Sheeta and Dub invited me. They're in the credit repair space. They invited me to go to their verses. They have like this competition between, they're going to drop all this credit knowledge. And they invited me to go to it to be a judge. So I'm going to be a judge. If I can make it back on time on the 15th to be a judge at their verses that's in Brooklyn. So I will be in Brooklyn. Peggy, if I will, I'll be there for Sheeta's Brooklyn challenge in person. But I think it's on the 15th of January. So it's a whirlwind right now. And I'm about to try to shoot a video for my website. So I got to get with my crew. I have a camera crew team and everything to shoot a actual like video for my website and for the courses and things like that. Yeah, and anyone, if you're going to be in New York during that week, love to guys come out and meet up or have drinks or lunch, so I'd love to have you guys. All right, thank you everyone. We will talk soon. Keep in touch, follow in the Instagram chat. I'll probably be uploading some photos. If you have any questions about anything about today, feel free to let me know.
Thanks a lot, man. It's been good.
Guys, hopefully today was a good session. I hope you guys learned a lot.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Peggy, for joining. Jonathan, appreciate it. Michael, thanks for all. And everyone else in the mentorship, talk to you guys soon.
Take care.
Bye. Have fun, Ben.
Thank you.